welcome back. So in this lab we'll be configuring the routing in the hub and spoke topology. So if we talk about the previous videos, we have established this whole connection using the templates, using JSON files, and the next lab we have configured the hub and spoke topology, where we have connected these two spoke networks using peering concept. So once these two are connected to each other, then we have tested the transmissibility of these virtual networks, so whether we can communicate with this VM to this and this to this. So however, these two were successful since there was a peer connection to this, but however connecting these two VM2 to VM3 was failed because there is no peer connection for these two. So that is the reason we have got error. So now we'll be configuring the routing in the hub and spoke topology. Coming to this, so we'll be creating this, and let's go ahead and start while creating this. So initially, so let's go to the VM0. Where is it? Let's go to the resource group and RG1 and coming to VM0. So if I go back here, VM0, so this is the virtual network. Let's see where that is. VM0 is in subnet VNet 01, which is this one. So once you go there, let's go under the settings, under networking, click that, and here under network interface, click this, and under settings you have IP configurations, click that. And here you can see there is a concept called IP forwarding. So if we talk about IP forwarding, so it's the ability for an operating system to accept the incoming network traffics on one interface. To be specific, it allows network administrator to use one IP address for all the external communications on the internet. So that is where we use the IP forwarding. So even using this particular IP, we can communicate with the internet. So if, for example, if you try to use your private IP, it doesn't work there, right? So for that, we should use the IP forwarding. So if I go back here, now make sure you enable this. So once you click enable, save the changes, save it. And coming to the note, the setting is required in order to this particular VM to function as a router, so which will route the traffic between two spoke virtual networks. So now we have to configure the VM0. So if we go back to the overview, if we go back to the VM0, and if I go to the overview, and under operations you can see there is a run command. So click that, and here you can see we can run the command. So let's see what to select. According to the docs, we have to run the command. So run the Powershell script, click that, and here we have to install the remote access Windows server role. So for that, let's add that. So this is the command for that. Let's run it. So once this is done, next we have to run and install the routing role services. So it's done. So let's add the other command. It's where we need to install the routing services. So if I click here, let me add that command. Script successfully executed. Let's add the other command and click run. So this is for installing the routing role services. So once it is done, we need to create and configure user defined routes on the spoke network. So meanwhile, let's go back to the other subscription, and if I go back to here, let's create a new service. Let's go to the routing tables. Route table. So we have the route table here, and let's create one. So you can read more about it in the below pane. However, so I guess we have used East US initially, so I'll go with that. So, and coming to the name of this is RT23. So if you check here, this is what we are doing right now, RT23. This is the route table that we are creating now. So if I go back here and propagate gateway router, which will be no, and you can add any tags if you want, and you can directly review and create. So the validation will be passed because there is no policy which is restricting for creating the routing table. So well, once it is done, we have to go back to the resources. Well, it was very fast. I thought it will take some time. However, let's check whether the command okay, the command is in progress. So it's done, and here under this particular resource group, so we can see that routing table. Where is it? Maybe it's taking some time to create. Let's check RT23, or do we have any field where we can route table? Oh shit, route table apply. So we have this route table which has been created, and now we have let's go into this route table. So now we have to add. So meanwhile, let's check here. Well, the execution has been completed successfully. That's good. So now let's go and add. So this is the route table that we have created, and under settings, if you go to the routes, there is an option called add. So click that, and let's give the route name, which is VNet 2 to VNet 3. Let me check the architecture. Okay, yeah, so VNet 2 to VNet 3, which are not peer connected. So coming to the address destination, it will be the IP addresses, and let me add this CIDR notation, which is this, and coming to the next hop, it is a virtual appliance, and the next one would be 60.4. So once you add this, click OK. So this is route 23, click OK. It's done. So you can verify the IP addresses. 0.4 is nothing but it's VM0, which is this one. So however, so yeah, once it is created, then let's go to the subnet section, which is below the routes. Click that, and right now it's not associated with any subnets, so let's add here. So virtual network, which will be 01, no sorry, it's virtual network 2. So let's check the architecture, and it's inside the subnet 0. So if I go back here, there you go. So once it is done, click OK, and we are done with this. The next thing would be to create another route table. So if I go here, so this is the resource group, and let's create another routing table. So if I click here, route table, so this is the route table that we have. You can read more about this information. So yeah, let's create it. So yeah, usually you can directly create from resource group, so you can directly click create, or you can search from here too. So I'm just trying different options just to show like what other options can we use. Table, click it, let's create it, and now it will be the other route. So if I click here, so we are done with this, and we have configured this one, and next would be this. So and then similarly we have to do the same operations where we have to associate and the other operations too. So if I go back here, let me add east-us, and let me add the name, which is rt32. rt32 added, I guess. Yeah, there you go. So it's rt32, and go back to the same configurations, review and create. If you want to add tags, you can. So the validation has been passed because there is no policy which is restricting that. So once it is done, let's go into those resources, which is rt32, and under settings you can see routes. Click that, and let's add the routes. So coming to the routing table, and the next one would be IP address and the destination CIDR notation. Let me add that too, and the virtual appliance, and the next hop, the same address that we have used before. So once it is done, click OK, add, and once the route is added, the next thing is we have to go to subnets and we have to associate. So in this case we are inside virtual network 3, VNet 3, yeah, VNet 3, and the subnet is 0. So if I go back here, let's associate, and it would be like VNet 3 and subnet 0. Click OK. So well, it has been associated. Now it's good to go. Let's click OK. So we have successfully created them. Now let's try to see the connection. The network watcher, let's go back to the network watcher. It should be somewhere here. Okay, let's search. So if I go to the connections troubleshoot, and let me add the values, RG1 right, virtual machine, let's go ahead with the 2, and select manually. So here it would be this IP. So right now we are using VM2. So VM2 is this one, and the IP address is 63, which is this one. So we're trying to see the connections for these two. So now let's try to check the connectivity. The destination port would be 3389, and check. So similarly we have performed the same operation before itself. So yeah, so we were successfully able to implement it. So if you go back and check the previous video, it was unreachable. So now since we have configured this hub and spoke network, it was working properly, and we were able to connect to this successfully. So we can also use the network watcher to see the topology of the network. So you can see on the monitoring there is a topology. Click that, okay. Source group RG1. So you can see the topology of our network. So yeah, that's it for now. So I hope you guys have understood the configuring of routing in the hub and spoke topology. So we were successfully able to establish the connection between VM2 and VM3 using those routes. So now we were able to connect to these two. And yeah, if you have liked the video, please click the link below, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comments, please do in the comment section, and please share the video. Thank you.